All right. Episode 19. Mark, how are we doing?
We doing good, Phil. For anybody listening out there, I got a little bit of a nasally sound going on. I'd be sounding like Fran Drescher right now, bro. But I caught a little cold after Club Cross. It was a good time out there in Tacoma, but it was wet, cold, and windy. So I think a few of us ended up walking away with a little bug.
No, that's how I sounded the past couple of days myself. It's common, I think, to get a little bug when you're traveling, being around others so closely, especially after a big performance, 10K, all that stuff, which we will dive into. But other than the cold, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. It's Friday night. Kind of experienced a little bit of that emotional low. I think we've talked about this on one of the pods in the past. When you race really well, you have a really good weekend. You have kind of like for us, we had a total boys trip with all of our guys, all of the slow people too. Even the guys who didn't make the A squad wound up taking the trip anyways on their own dime just to come hang out, come compete themselves. And so we had everybody out there, which was absolutely exciting for me. And it was an incredible experience. But at the end of the day, I was joking when I got back to work because a lot of my coworkers, they follow me on Instagram. They see my posts and stuff like that. And they saw you had a pretty dang good weekend, huh? And end of day, I end up telling them I have to go back and push buttons, or I have to go back and manage budgets, or you have to go back to work. And then another thing too that I don't like to get is too comfortable, because after you have a good race, I think the hardest part for me is getting up to train hard again. And that was basically the first thing I wanted to do. But Monday, I felt completely run down, and I didn't know if it was because of the long travel, because of the race, or because I went out for the first time in a couple months, for a late night. But woke up Tuesday morning and I was just absolutely sick. However, I'm a dog, built different.
Your dog built different.
Your boy's still on pace for 95 miles this week.
Heck yes.
Kind of mind over matter. Me and Phil were talking a little bit before this pod about how you just kind of have to think a certain way. And it's nah, I'm not sick. And that's just what I kept telling myself was crank out a few hours of work. All right, let's get a run in, get the blood flowing a little bit, go back to work, crank out a few more hours. And then after that, we crank out another 10 miler. And it got to the point where even on Wednesday, it was so windy. It was so cold that, or it wasn't even actually cold. It was just really uncomfortable wind.
Yeah.
And running 10 miles at Stenner sounded terrible. So I just hit the track and was let's just run some garbage 400s. Doesn't matter what the splits are. Doesn't matter what the pace is. I just needed mileage and I just needed it to go by. So did 16 by 400 in about 76 seconds per lap off 100 jog. And I was I checked the box. That's what Joe told me to do.
Check the box.
Check the box, and just ran 76s like clockwork. No faster, no slower. So
yeah,
I was all right, cool. We'll take it.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to get it in, man.
Yeah. How about you, man? How are you doing?
I was about the same. I mean, about the same as you. I did not do a midweek workout. But that's kind of been my new, I've kind of having to establish a little bit of a different routine now that I'm getting a little bit older. So I after the 10K races, after the longer cross country races that we've had this season, I've taken the week down, just easy runs, and then I'll come back that Saturday. Where typically, like you said, you would do a kind of a bridge workout, kind of a recovery workout. Cause I actually think that sometimes some turnover helps recovery.
Yeah.
Especially, just some moderate pacing, nothing crazy. I'm just I think I'm at a point where just an easy recovery run is beneficial. But like you were saying, I got back Saturday or Sunday afternoon. Actually wasn't too late. But it's coming back and we gotta, you gotta get ready for the week. You're back with the family. You're back, having to get the groceries and having to get everything going again. And you're kind of in this fog, right? Like you're saying, where you're with the boys and on team trips, it's it's now that we all have jobs. I mean, we're all in different phases of like families and stuff, but we all have jobs. We all have a regular like 9 to 5. So to be taken out of that and just focus on running, it's like kind of like a vacation vibe, right?
Bro, those are brownie points, man. Like
Yeah.
for a lot of our guys that are married and stuff like
Yeah,
that, like you
exactly.
are
So
taking time away.
yeah, it's like taking time away for sure. So like, even though we're on a mission, we're dogs, it's still like, I'm not doing any parenting. I'm not doing any chores. I get to sleep in. I get a continental breakfast. Um, so, but yeah, it's just been kind of tiring this week, and I think everything, like you said, uh, is it all takes a toll. But overall, I'm good. It's Friday as we're recording this, and I'm a teacher, so I'm on winter break now till January 11th or something, January 12th.
Dude,
So
I'm so jealous of you guys that get breaks, man. I understand it though. Like I was talking to some teachers, you know how we park at Teach Elementary
yeah,
before we do workouts? I was talking to some teachers, I was pulling up and they still had class on, I think it was like Monday. And I happened to run into like two of them or one of them on Monday, one of them on Tuesday. And they were like, "Oh, I can't wait for a break." And I thought about it. I was like, "Bro, y'all be dealing with kids, man, like other human beings." I could not imagine it. So I will give my hats off to teachers and be like, "Bro, y'all deserve those time off." But also, I am absolutely jealous
yeah,
of having like winters and summers.
I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. It's definitely a rewarding career, but it is it can definitely have its challenges too. So
Yeah,
yes, we get some time off now. I've been looking forward to this show. Been thinking about it because we've done a lot of racing this season.
yeah,
But kind of want to dive in a little bit to our race in Tacoma on last Saturday for Club Nats. How did it play out for you?
like the actual race itself or the trip in general.
Let's go with the trip in general. Yeah,
Dude, the trip in general, it was probably top 2 club crosses for me in
yeah,
terms of overall team experience and overall race experience, overall just trip as a whole. So,
cohesive.
yeah, cohesive trip as a whole, probably top 2. Another one of my favorites was probably in 2021 in Tallahassee. Like
Yeah,
that was, I think, a really good trip too. But this one was this one was up there just because collectively, like we had all the guys that all the main characters in our training group that we've had since start of the year, like start of 2024, start of even last season, even
yeah,
all. And so we had guys like you, myself, Sean made the trip up. Silas finally got his dang American citizenship this year, so he rolled up to race. Who else made the trip up? Did I already say Dougie?
no, you did not yet say
Yeah,
Dougie.
like Dougie. We had Gordon. We had like collectively all the guys that have been around all year that we see maybe once or twice a year,
Yeah,
or we'll see occasionally at practice. Or it's one of those things where, if some guys don't make the travel squad, you kind of feel bad talking about the race or how
yeah,
great the trip was after, just because you don't want them to feel like left out or have FOMO or stuff like that, or
yeah.
make them
But
like
the fact that they came up on their own, I think, was huge.
Yeah, exactly. And it just added to that experience because you have all your boys there. Also when we go out and, just for lack of a better word, like do goon activities, bro. Going to what is that place called? Not Cabela's, Bass Pro
Oh
Shops.
yeah, Bass Pro Shop. Yeah,
Yeah, just looking at a bunch of stuff over there and
right.
just spending all that time. And
Yeah,
then going to the pre-meet, going through the motions with everybody. Everybody perceives pre-race differently. Everybody acts differently. Everybody has different kind of emotions. And for me on trips like this, I'm a high energy kind of guy because I'm just excited to be there. I enjoy those trips. I enjoy being out on the venues, seeing the courses. So you start thinking about the race, strategizing yourself, strategizing with your teammates, and being like, what do you think is going to happen? Or how do we think it's going to play out?
yeah,
So going through the motions of it all with your friends, with your training partners,
right.
having everybody around, that's really exciting for me. And then race itself comes. And morning of, I'm sure I'll give you a little bit of time to touch on your experience too, but That morning of, man, I was excited because although it's pouring rain sideways,
Hmm.
it's windy, it's cold, it's muddy, it looks ugly out. Those kind of conditions excite me.
Yeah.
Not because I'm gonna be one of those guys that are like, "Oh, cross country's meant to be gritty, cross country's meant to be gruesome." No, it's because even when it was hot in, like, Tallahassee, or even when it's trash conditions no matter where we race, I get excited for that because I personally feel like I have a mental advantage because I can
Hmm.
accept that it's gonna be that way.
Yep.
And while everybody else, like I told everybody at before the race, all these other pretty runners, bro, all these other pretty boys, they don't like that stuff. They're having a bad day and they're gonna give themselves a reason to have a bad day. So for me, like we're warming up, it's windy. I just hear everyone around me, not talking about our team, but like the other competitors complaining about how disgusting it is out there, how gruesome it is out there. And to me, I'm like, I have you beat, I have you beat, I have you beat. You're not beating me. You're not beating me. And I can point at everybody and being like, you're not beating me today because you're already upset at how the weather is. And I've trained, like I've prepared, and now I'm even have a mental edge over you. So race goes off and instantly you see people like pushing and shoving, freaking out
Hmm.
about the mud, trying to find like all the dumb tangents, going the long way just to try to avoid the mud. And it's like, brother, that's not going to help you at all. I'm sorry, I don't know how to tell you this, but that's not going to help you at all. So going through the race itself, just ended up finding my teammate Silas. Silas got out pretty well, so I was like, okay, I know Silas is not going to have a bad day, so that means I'm not going to have a bad day if I run with him. So I kind of just like kept him in my sights the whole time, and at that point, the dust settles, and you kind of see who are the guys that are going to play. So what makes me excited when the conditions are bad too is I feel like it kind of evens the playing field. Do you kind of get that sentiment as well? Like,
Yes. No, I do. I do. And these conditions really reminded me of some of the NCAA races that I had in college. And
like
it
Terre Haute,
was,
Indiana?
yeah, Terre Haute, Indiana. And, some of those big names come back. One year, Chris Zielinski was a favorite. And, I went by him like 1K to go. So I'm like you, man. I feel the same way. I like when the conditions aren't great. I like when it's all messed up. I guess the only thing that I didn't love when in San Francisco
Oh.
is when I had to wear metal spikes on an asphalt course.
Yeah,
Um, so in 2022, because the course there was literally like grown trees collapsing on the course, so they had to change
yeah,
it to the flat asphalt tarmac with 1/4 inch spikes just grinding away. So I didn't love that, but that was kind of on me because I didn't bring flats. But I
same.
mean, but yeah, I like that. I like it because I know that like I because running cross country is a skill, man. It's like it's like doing a kickflip or shooting a basketball. It's like it's something that you have to know how to do, and there are people that are like more skilled at it than others, and I feel like maybe I'm not like a 14-minute guy anymore. Maybe I'm not a 29-minute guy anymore or a 63-minute guy anymore, but I can find my way around a cross country course, right?
Yeah,
And I was similar to you how you found Silas. I found Cameron and Daniel, and we ran together for the majority of the race. So it's so much of that instinctual like finding your teammates and moving up and understanding that there's still a lot of racing left with 2K to go. Like there's still a lot of room to move up. And, sometimes I was prioritizing footing over tangent, right? I would maybe go a little bit wider to not be in the like ankle deep mud, and little adjustments like that. You have to weigh the pros and the cons, but like you know, finding clean lines and trying not to stumble over yourself and that's all just kind of happening in real time. So yeah, I'm with you. I like when the conditions are bad. I like when the conditions take the sting out, right? When you can't run 26:45 out there.
yeah. And that kinda like what you're talking about when you see guys like Zelensky coming back to you. I think something that's always what resonates with me in cross country is like I'm running in a pack with these guys and I'm chasing down guys and I'm looking at their jerseys and it's like, that's Henry Wynn. He's on a full-time contract and he's right in front of me. That's
Yep.
Parker, like that's Parker Stokes right next to me. He and I are kicking for a finish and he just won NCAAs a year ago and like has a full-time contract. Like I know that guy. I know that guy. These guys are all full-time contracted pros. And here's me, a button pusher in digital marketing.
Yeah.
Who trains as a glorified hobby, like also in the same ballpark as these guys. And
which has always been the thing about Club Nats, right? You know,
yeah.
and that's
why,
yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, that's why I like competing at races like this because, you know, it gets really hard and stuff like that. And it comes down to who's willing to just hurt the most possible. And I wound up finishing 19th. I was really looking to try to crack that top 10. I do think in a different universe, if I ran that race like 9 out of 10 times, I do think I can find myself maybe 1 or 2 of those times being in that top 10, just because in hindsight, 2020, like we always say, I think if I had just gone out a little bit harder and didn't settle earlier on, I probably would have just been up there because of the energy and been like, I'm in this.
Yeah.
Versus trying to catch those guys in a muddy condition where we're averaging 5-minute pace in this absolute slop.
Yep. Yeah. No, I agree with you on that one. And, you know, I had a very similar experience.
Yeah. How did, so we can talk about it afterwards in a bit, but like, how was the experience for you overall? Like, what did you think of it?
Yeah.
Because you've done like 16.
I've done a lot. This is my 16th. Yeah. This is my 16th. But this is up there. You know, we've had some good ones in North Carolina in like 2009, 2010 was fun. All the San Francisco ones are always fun. You know, it's always a different flavor, different cast, different crew. But like, I felt like this one, I was more connected with more people because like so many of the guys from Slow came.
Yeah.
And even the guys who maybe are a little bit newer, I still feel like I knew, like Daniel Tapia joined us in the spring. He joined our team, but he's like a veteran. He's a 212 guy. He's about my age. So I've been racing with him for a long time, for 10 plus years. So like we know each other. So even though he was a new season, a new runner this season, we knew each other. Right. So
yeah,
even the new faces, but it was like a lot of familiar faces, and even like the Masters guys who I know them just from being around the team for so long now. So like it was like everybody in the lobby, we at the hotel we were staying at, the lobby ended up being kind of the social hangout because they had the continental breakfast and we also had our dinner there, and it was just ended up that's kind of how it's been for Club Nats, is we tend to take over the lobby for the whole weekend. But I just felt really comfortable with the group. I felt really connected to everybody. Like I felt like I was able to share like a funny little unique story from various Club Nats and various experience with pretty much everyone there. And it was fun. It was like Club Nats is also always a little bit of a reunion in that way. But yeah, it almost to me had like the vibe of PAs, like the same sort of like casual but competitive vibe, because there's so many of us there. You know, we had to have a group like over 30, right? Like,
oh, not even, that's probably an understatement, man. There's
40. I don't know. We had like 4 or 5 vehicles. Like,
yeah, dude, we fielded two complete open men's team. We had at least 16 guys there.
Yeah, so we had at least 16. Yeah, so yeah, exactly. So
yeah,
my experience was great. You know, everything was smooth. You know, the process was great. Shout out Nolan Searles for helping us out.
The man.
Kevin Searles. I mean, shout out the whole Searles family, Kevin Searles and Noreen, obviously, as well. But Nolan did a lot of the research and coordinating of all the accommodation and rental car airlines, which is not an easy job because we're all coming from different places.
Yeah, definitely.
but I enjoyed it, man. I just I love those little, going to the grocery store, going to Bass Pro Shop, going to get lunch. Like those little interactions are just the uh, that's why I did it in high school and college, and that's why I still do it. Like, yeah, the race is important, but the whole journey is fun too. And then heading out dancing a little bit on Saturday night. That
Oh
was
man.
fun.
Hey,
I
you
haven't
gotta
I haven't gone out in 6 years like that.
cheat, man. Outside of like weddings.
outside of weddings, outside of like scheduled weddings.
Yeah, dude, I definitely felt like our team had a bit of main character energy
Yeah.
because I actually ran into father and son duo actually on my run today. Shout out Justin and Dave. One of them ran for Slow High. I think if I got the last name, you'd probably recognize the name, but he ran for Slow High like a couple years ago. His dad's still out running. I see him out at like Second Farm very frequently, like maybe a couple times a week. But ran into him and he ran for Club Northwest this year because he's out in Seattle. And he was talking about how he noticed the team started a dance floor at the after party because he was like, yeah, I was kind of underwhelmed by the after party because it was supposed to be like this huge thing and it turned into just drinking and talking. He's like, and then this team just started dance floor like randomly. I was like, yup, that was us, man.
That was us.
And then we got other teams to join in. Yeah. George Kelly, shout out George, bro. I got to know that guy real well this weekend, like more so than normal outside of practice, and real dude. But he got me on the ox. So your boy got to man the ox at the after party.
Yep.
Like a couple bangers,
Yeah, I got some bangers. Got a little
open up with 3 times Chris Brown.
Yeah.
And our team got it going. Then afterwards, we kind of felt like Moses leading the Exodus, bro, with everyone trying to figure out where to go next. And everyone's just kind of looking at our team on where the after party was. And we get to this random bar with no dance floor. And me and George just start ripping it on the dance floor, just us two, because everyone else was being wallflowers. Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, we have our entire team out there. Next thing you know, we have the entire club out there. Like, just this popped off dance floor towards afterwards. Like
other clubs too.
No, I meant the entire club, not like running club. Like,
oh yeah, okay.
Everyone in the bar.
Everyone in the bar, yes.
Yeah, like it ended up being packed out. And I even had like a club promoter come up to me afterwards and be like, bro, you and your friends like crushed it out there. Like we saw you moving, you guys got the party going. I was like, hey, that's just what we do, man.
Dang.
We're the Aggies, man. We have
promoter. I didn't know that part. A promoter came up to you?
Yeah, it was like someone handing out like shit out front. Was telling
nice.
Me, like, yo.
Yeah. No, we definitely got it started. We definitely got the party started at the after party.
Me wondering why I have a cold.
Yeah. I think we're all there. But the actual like award ceremony after party was in a pretty cool place. It was like a museum, like an airplane museum, like ferry building kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was pretty unique. Huh?
Boats. They had a bunch of boats there.
Oh, they had a ton of boats.
Yeah.
So that was a cool setting. It's just their audio was I think they just had a very small audio no one could really hear. But other than that, we got the party started, and then you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. And went to Silverstone, and that was fun.
Yeah, man. What was your most memorable time on the dance floor? What song came on?
Oh man.
You're just like,
shoot, which one was it? It was, oh man. All Around the World.
All Around the World.
La 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 la. Like that I haven't heard that in public. Like obviously like they were playing Usher, and Yin Yang Twins. Yeah. And maybe did they have some Ludacris too?
They did.
I felt like they were playing all like I loved like late 90s, 2000s, all the heaters, but I haven't really heard that La 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 song in a while, just in the wild.
Yeah, like at a club. You rarely hear early 2000s like EDM or like mid 2000s EDM.
Yep. So that was good. And then the DJ did a cool mashup of what song was that? It was I think a Weekend song.
Oh, he did I don't remember what he mashed it into, but it was something into blinding lights.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was it Eurythmics into Blinding Lights, something like that.
Or was it Sandstorm?
It could have been Sandstorm, but it was
I
like,
don't remember. Yeah.
I think it was something. It was some like maybe even 80s, 90s like Euro beat into Blinding Light, and
Yeah.
it was a smooth transition. It was clean. He was good. He was a good DJ. He was
Yeah,
spinning it.
dude. No lulls in the playlist. That was a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. But should we go over some pictures?
Yeah, pull them up, bro. Sorry for the podcasters, but
Yeah.
I'd recommend going to YouTube.
Yeah, check them out. Check them out. We won't spend too much time. It's kind of fun to kind of go share our journey.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, there's us coming out of Winco.
Yeah, Winco. So
See what's hitting up, bro.
Yeah, I love this photo. This is iconic of any trip.
Yeah, I need to do a photo dump, and I got to throw that in there.
So here's us on the pre-meet. You can see we're very deep. And shout out Keith Stoneman and Stacy Geiken, Will's dad, for taking these high quality images. There's Will. Will and I were roommates. What look like on the pre-meet here? You can see it's cloudy, gray day. They had these cool ruins. Remember those ruins in the background? I don't know.
Can Gordon and Cameron kind of look related?
Yeah, they kind of did. That's Cameron in the yellow hat.
I'm like, wait, they low-key kind of look related, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, they kind of do. Our women's team warming up. Jenny, she would go on to get second in the Masters women. So
hey, shout out Jenny, bro.
Yeah, she did really well. We have some more of her, I think. With Bass Pro Shop hanging out here on a little side quest. All these animals.
Bro, can you believe there are grown men that think they can beat one of those things on the left, one of the bears?
One of the bears, yeah.
Yeah, bro, like there's legitimately people out there that think they can fight a grizzly bear.
I wouldn't even want to mess with a grizzly bear, dude. I wouldn't even want to be in the same just general vicinity.
Like, bro, even like the mountain lion at the top, bro, like a normal house cat can F you up pretty bad. Can you imagine like 150-pound cat with just like pure muscle?
Pure muscle. There's some elk and some ducks. I ended up buying this flannel.
Hey, bro, you look like that. You look like a chill guy in this one, bro.
I've been looking for this was like a thick, it's kind of off topic, but whatever. It's a thick, like lined one. And and it's $22, bro.
Yeah, dude, that's not bad.
And I'm like, I could order it, but I'm gonna pay for shipping. So I'm like, I'm here, so I'll just get it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, dude, it was a nice flannel.
So here's dinner. We got dinner at the hotel. We ordered the team got us Olive Garden, which I think was a goated move.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, how are we gonna fit like friggin' 50 people in a restaurant?
Yeah, it's multiple sections usually.
Yeah.
So we're vibing in the lobby. Then we got a full-on team meeting in a conference room. Like this almost looks like a press conference. Like,
yeah,
we got that's in the front there. That's Kevin Searles. He's our president.
Joe was dripped out that whole weekend.
Joe what?
Joe Rubio, he was dripped out that whole weekend.
Oh yeah. He had some drip on. He was looking sharp for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kevin handed out all of our bibs and told us all of our race times, and we coordinated our car assignments and all that, because it's racing all morning into the afternoon. And yep, there he is. Oh yeah, full introductions too. Everyone had to fully introduce themselves, as usually is at an Aggie event. So yeah, again, more just hanging out in the lobby. Okay, so we're getting into the race. The women's this is the women's race. Jenny getting out good. It's a good see where the course at the beginning of the day it wasn't so bad, right?
I know, that actually looks kind of nice. I'm pretty upset.
So we'll come back. So Jenny, great finish here.
Wait, that's the home stretch?
That's the home stretch.
Oh my god, that's not even fair.
Yeah. Yep. So that was 9 a.m. So here's Aaron. El Presidente. Aaron and Kira. Aaron and Kira, and our some of our Masters women, and then El Presidente, Kevin.
Bro, I got to give it to this man. Like, the weather was terrible during their warm-ups, bro. I mean, during their race, man. We're warming up, and for us, that warm-up was miserable, but
the Masters guys got it the worst.
I think so. I think Masters men had the worst conditions.
They had the worst conditions because it was windy and rainy. But yeah, there's Greg Scott, another one of our Masters guys holding it down. Jason Blank. You know, we had like every slow runner in attendance. There's some of our women racing.
Yeah, shout out Catherine.
See here's how the race has changed from the Masters women, right?
Yeah, it's all muddy.
To the Open after a few races. There's Melissa
after racing a marathon.
Yeah, 6 days after racing a marathon, she's racing a 6K cross country course.
Nuts. Yeah, see, even theirs is not bad in terms of like traction. Shout out Tanya.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the traction doesn't look bad for them. Like, yeah, it doesn't look pretty, but like versus the carnage we're about to go through.
Yeah. That's a cool photo. They went out on their cool down.
Yeah.
Oh, these jackets are sick, by the way.
Oh, dude, they gave us those parkas.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm ever gonna be able to use it again. But wait, did they all take a photo of Kenneth Rooks?
Kenneth Rooks. So Kenneth Rooks, spoiler alert, he won the men's race, the men's open race. Every day that you see a Olympic silver medalist. And then here we get to the men's. Here you are, looking strong, looking locked in. Is that Win behind you?
No, that's Win is, I think, the guy with the glasses. That's Parker Stokes right behind me.
Okay. That's Win to the okay, got it.
Yeah, and then right in front of me, Alex Osterberg. And then shout out Minnesota Distance Elite there, Titus Winders.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, bro. Brendan Gregg right there in the back in the glasses. Yeah. Bro, I've been racing these dudes so much. I don't even like really know them like that, but like I race these dudes so frequent and have battles with these dudes so frequent that like I have multiple photos with multiple of these people.
Well, you've raced Brendan Gregg what, 3 times this season? 4 times?
Yeah, 3 times this season. 0-3 against him though. He balled out on this one. He got 9th.
Yeah, he's really hard to beat.
He's consistent, dude.
Here's George. Look at the course. The course just getting progressively worse throughout the day.
Yeah, like that guy that you had in the New Balance kit. That dude is foot deep in mud.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's me.
Yeah, you're right there, bro.
I'm right there. I'm like getting pinched here.
Yeah, you got the fresh burst fade going on.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I gotta keep it different. I gotta keep it different sometimes. I mean, I've had the same haircut since age 11, so I need to mix it up.
Yeah, Blake Molly would be proud.
Yeah, he's proud. He was like, "Hey, did I see fresh cut?" I'm like, Shawnee on Team T.
Yeah, dude, Sean was overdressed for this occasion, man.
But he ran really strong. And look at this, dude. Just like look at this.
Dude, that is disgusting, man.
Here's Dougie. Just in the thick of it, dude. This is like this part, because I you know, at this point in the race, I wasn't too far ahead of these guys. This part, there's so many people. You're 4 or 5 wide.
Yeah, geez, dude, that's nuts.
Yeah. So here's the beginning of the race.
Oh, you put yourself all the way in the back.
I mean, I was 8th man at PAs.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, I don't really have, and I was like, you guys are going to get out faster than me anyways.
Bro, we did not get out.
No, but we didn't.
Silas, yeah.
Yeah,
you can see me a little bit back there. There's Silas. You can see my head popping out.
All right, yeah, there's Silas.
That's me right there. Oh,
there you are.
Yeah, there I am. Yeah,
looking good.
Oh, thank you, man.
Here's Cameron. Here's me.
Dude, you look so fresh, man. Okay, now that we're past the race, did you only offer to race in a t-shirt so that we could all run in that color shirt? Because I think, who was it? George wore my singlet. Yeah.
So did you
only volunteered just so that we could all wear that color. You can be honest. I don't think anyone's gonna be like.
No, I'm on Team T. I wear like I race in t-shirts. Like
Yeah, I know you do, but usually for like the bigger meets, you tend to go singlet.
I do. But
Yeah.
to be honest with you, I wanted to be a team. I wanted to look,
Yeah.
I know that I'm comfortable racing in a t-shirt, so I have no problem giving up my singlet.
Yeah.
I was kind of already planning. I mean, it was windy and cold. Like I know it's the sun is shining and it looks bright and warm, but it wasn't. It was cool out.
Yeah, it was 41 degrees at race time.
Yeah. So, and with the wind blowing in your face, it feels colder. But I think what's a good takeaway from this photo, if you look behind me, behind this guy in white, see how that pole is like bent over? Like that stake, that flag stake right there. There's a lot of these that were bent over, pushed over by the wind or whatever. And they're just like massive tripping hazards, like
dude, I hurdled that one in particular at one point because I was boxed in and I was like, shoot, there's nowhere for me to go. So I had to hurdle that one.
But that is cross country, man. Like you're going to have little things like that happen that you need to be aware of. And that's why maybe like not always the cleanest, like purest tangent is great, because you could get pinched off and shoulder checked into something like that.
Well, look at all the fools on the right of this photo.
Yeah.
Like well, they're on the left of the course, but it's a right-hand turn. And those dudes are so desperate to avoid the mud that they're on the complete opposite tangent.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's all part of the racing strategy and keeping an eye out. So here's Doug, same corner. This is all.
We got to get Dougie some bigger shorts, bro. We got to get him some longer shorts. My guy be skimpy out there, bro. He about to catch a case if he's anywhere 50 feet near a school.
So here we are, you and Silas. How is the team tactics working here? Are we like Barrega and Kajelcha right here?
I would say no. We're more like the Americans in the 1500. Like, I think we more so are comfortable around each other, but I wouldn't necessarily know if we're like helping each other out in that sense, like switching off the leads or anything. But we're kind of just comfortable. Like, okay, if I'm near Mark, that's good, and for me, I'm like, if I'm near Silas, that's good.
Yeah,
and I think we kind of just feed off each other's energy and competitiveness in the sense of like we aren't running shoulder to shoulder, although it looks like that. I think I had just passed him here, and it's like, all right, like you had led the first 5K or 6K, like, all right, now I'm going to take over and like start pushing.
Yeah. That's kind of how it was with our group too, is we were kind of like pushing each other, but also going by people.
Yeah.
So yeah, here's a great photo of that. So similar area that you guys were just in. Cameron was pushing hard. I was on his shoulder, and Daniel actually, he passed these guys and joined us pretty shortly. But yeah, we finished, I think, within about 3 or 4 seconds of each other.
Oh, Daniel voluntarily wore a t-shirt too.
Yeah, he said he didn't have a singlet. We didn't have enough. We didn't have enough of one cut. We didn't have enough singlets in that design. But I mean, like I said, I like the t-shirt. I prefer it. Yeah. In some cases. So here's Shawnee again.
Is that Dylan Breen on the left? Yeah, that is old college. I've known that dude forever. He's the guy next to Sean in the hat. He runs for Lane 0. Yeah, I've been racing that dude since college. He used to run for Chico.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Dougie. We're feeling it. We're probably getting close to the finish here.
Yeah, I think we are too.
There's Gordon
being like, yeah, these conditions don't bother me at all.
Yeah. So another shot here in the mud. This guy in the GRC, that's Silas's buddy, right?
Yeah, that's Emmett. He's actually going to be at practice tomorrow.
Oh, nice. I saw him and I recognized him, and I'm like, I think I've done a workout with that dude.
Yeah, that one day it was like mega raining.
Yeah.
Michael.
Silas. I think we're finishing. I think we're getting close to finishing here. Me
dude,
and Daniel.
Freaking mud, dude.
I know, man. I will say,
Jacuzzi boys.
Yeah, I had half or quarter inchers in, and they were fine. I was
Yeah.
like, because we talked about it. I was worried that the longer spikes, like 3/8 or half inchers, would get caught on the hay bales.
Oh,
I
did
thought
you
that
step them?
I stepped them.
Geriatric.
I know. Well, hey man, I got bad knees.
No, I got you.
uh, but I was like, I didn't want to get caught and like launch myself forward.
Yeah, no, that would have been all bad. I do wonder how many people fell. I didn't see anybody in like my section fall.
So here,
Bro, look at that
his
shit,
professional
dude.
steepler.
Yeah, look at his foot is gone.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's got
There
like,
we go.
oh, pain.
Pain.
That's like this was probably I threw up quite a bit after this ring. And they were like trying to like, dude, you can't be here. And I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah. What's going through your mind at this point? At this point in the race?
Do I want to go to Lubbock, Texas in a month?
Really?
Yeah, dude. I was like, I don't know if I ever want to do this again.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. I don't think I've ever wanted a race to be over more in my life than this one, like in that final 400.
That was a long final 400.
Yeah, because it wasn't like, because you can see the finish line the whole entire way, but it wasn't like, it's one of those dreams where you feel like you're trying to run, but you're not moving. You know what I'm talking about? Have you ever had any of those?
Yes.
That's what the last 400 felt like because of the mud. You couldn't get a real step. And me and Silas were in a pack of like 10 guys.
Yep.
Like between, maybe not 10, but like 8. Between 14th place and like 23rd or like 22nd, where like Silas was.
Yeah.
And so you could not let up or just finish up, because if you look within like 4 seconds of me, that was 15th place.
Yep.
If you look within 5 seconds behind me, that was 21st place.
Yep.
So
every point matters. Yep.
Yeah. And it's not like you can have one of those races where you just like shut it down and like bring it home. No, like you were fighting for your life, but you just could not go.
Yeah, because it's hard to get a push off that mud, that soft, squishy, ankle deep, wet mud. And just like look at like you're actually, your face is pretty clean, but like this Brooks guy, like he has, who is that? Is that Kidder?
I don't know who that is actually.
Oh.
That looks like Hansen's.
Oh, is that Hanson's? Okay, I didn't see
this one looks like a Hanson's guy. He doesn't look like tall enough to be a beast guy.
Right. So, he's got mud on his face. Like that's how much was flying around there. So, yeah. So we'll nice one to end the slideshow on there. But also I met Josh Kerr in the parking lot.
Oh yeah.
So I got a little quote from Josh Kerr. Super nice guy. He was walking. I thought it was really cool to see him being supporting his Brooks Beast buddies and warming up with them and cheering them on. But he was out there watching the races, cheering everyone on. And I saw him. I'm like, dude, he's right there. I got to talk to him. I got to go up and talk to him. So I talked to him for a few seconds. I got a clip. So Josh Kerr, if you ever see that clip, you're welcome to come on the Lane One podcast and share your thoughts.
Yeah, bro. I'll just be like, yo, you want to hop on our podcast?
Yeah, we might have to reach out. But yeah, he was there, so I just like, people want to talk, have an opinion about Club Cross. Like you're always going to have star power there, man. You're always going to have, either star power in the race, but also star power hanging out, being around it. So, yeah, I had a great time. I think it was a lot of fun. It was, I ended up 61st and I was our third man. And I think like you were saying, when it's all, end of the day, like you run that race 10 times, and I think 1 or 2 of those times I probably could have been in like the top 40, and if I got out a little bit harder. But I think for me, it was just that validation of like that this is still something that I can do, that it's still something that I could find success with. And it's like, still, all the stuff that I've been doing in terms of like training and the, recovery from the trials, it's like, it's moving in a positive direction,
Yeah.
But yeah. Any other thoughts on Club Nats?
I think we covered it all, man. That was a fun trip. That was
a fun trip.
Yeah, and just like, when we look back on things like Club Cross, not don't want to like age myself, but like I'm 29 already. I don't have many more of these in me left. You know what I mean? Like I don't
Yeah.
have any more that many more Club Crosses on the calendar. I don't. So for me to be able to go on these trips and to continue to have good times and stuff like that and run well, it's like what I was explaining to one of my friends. I won't like disclose who it was, but like, bro, we train hard for this stuff. And when you skip a lot of Friday nights out and a lot of Saturday nights out so that you can train, it kind of makes these trips that much more special because,
Yep.
We go out, you have a successful race, and it's like all that sacrifice paid off. And then
Yep.
you get to go out afterwards and kind of like break that dry spell for a little bit. And then you have a night like as good as we did and like a time with your friends that's memorable that we talk about for weeks and even probably years. Like when we talk about like, you remember Club Cross? It makes a lot of that worth it. And
Yes.
to kind of know that we don't get these opportunities back and that one day we're not going to get them back. Like, or we're not going to experience that. It makes these trips like that much more sweet.
Yeah. Yep. And like being 10 years ahead of where you are, in my late 30s, going into 40, it's the same feeling, but it's kind of like, it kind of justifies, my being away from the family, right? Like, the fact that I can still go out here and contribute, score points, represent the club in a positive manner, and be contribute in a meaningful way. It, like you said, it not only makes the nights in, but like nights in are kind of like are like my night out, but like it's more like the trip itself, the 4 days away from the family, the 4 days not contributing to the household with the taking care of the family and all that stuff. That's kind of like what you're talking about becomes in about 10 or 15 years, right? Like, it's not so much the going out, but it's like, oh, you're not, you get a break from reality for a few days. So let's go make the most of it. So
yeah, definitely.
But yeah, it was a great trip. And yeah, I think it was a great season, man. Like looking back, I ran 5 races so far this season. You've run 3.
Yeah.
And I think like it's been nice to put together like a cohesive season for me, at least. Like, I think looking back on it, the past couple of years I've been doing marathons, either preparing for, recovering from, or preparing for another one. And I just think that ended up taking a larger toll on my body than I really gave it credit for. Because 365 days ago, we were sitting here on this same podcast talking about me being injured. And and I think there was some wear and tear, but I just think that like sort of moving forward, I want to get back to what, like, I guess my true passion running is, which is like road racing, like 5Ks to half marathons. I think that's what I really enjoy. Road races or cross country. Like I've had so much fun doing that. Like I did the Silicon Valley Turkey Trot for the first time in a few years. And I had such distorted expectations of myself for that. Like I hadn't done a single sub 70 400 like all fall. Like, and then my first mile was 4:37. And and I haven't run one lap at 4:37 pace. And I ended up finishing pretty well. I ended up 6th place and running 14:28. And that was just like a massive boost of confidence. I honestly thought I was going to be like 15-25. Like,
Really?
yes. And I
No.
know, I know that sounds like, oh, you're a sandbagger, like get at it. Like, you've done this for however many years. Right.
Yeah.
I know that sounds silly, but I'm very like, what have you done lately? Right. And my workouts up to that point were not saying that I could like do anything beyond that. So I was like, I guess what I learned is that I could get a lot more out of these workouts than actually having to run race pace,
Yeah.
like you get a lot out of doing threshold, you get a lot out of doing strides, and you get a lot out of doing cross country workouts. So
hey, listeners out there, fartleks and tempos go a long way, man.
Yeah.
You get really fit.
They do.
So while we're on this topic, you're kind of looking back on your seasons. What would you say is a big highlight of like 2024?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say the trials is a big highlight, going down to Orlando for the trials with my family, full podcast on that. You can go check that out. Being in that space for a few days, Disneyland, that was a lot of support, a lot of thank yous. The ESPN commentary thing was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That was really fun. That was just like, I mean, it's fun to look back on. It was stressful in the moment. 22 track and field events, and 22 for men, 22 for women. The Ventura Hall of Fame, that was very special. Even just like the centipede was good. My spring was just like pretty trash for training, to be honest. I re-injured my hamstring. It was not great for racing, but it was great for all of these other experiences. And then like, all the stuff from the fall, everything we just talked about, but also in October, I went up and did this race in Marin called the John Lawson Cross Country Tamalpa Challenge, and I just like wore a little camera on my head. I didn't think anything of it, and I made I put like some like my pace and all my like heart rate and stuff on it, and I put that on YouTube, and that it's like 70,000 views.
Yeah, 70K, man. That is literally 10,000 times what our average podcast gets.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. I mean, that kind of motivated me to do more of this stuff. Like, I'm excited. I want to get more into this stuff in 2025. Yeah. So like that's just kind of like a little fun thing that happened pretty recently. But I would say like those are some of the fun memories. I mean, going down and seeing you at Brian Clay was a lot of fun. Going, to just be kind of like, I know how it is to like be in a race by yourself. So to be there for you was a lot of fun, and seeing like Parker Valby and like, all that stuff was fun. That was cool. And then I went and saw the 10 with Blake. Just the trials and the Olympics and everything, just all of our shows about that was like, it ended up being a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I feel like you've educated me with your knowledge, but what about you?
Highlights for me, I got to say, taking it back to January, I think that Boston trip going on the East Coast was a big highlight for me, Boston indoor. And although I didn't really race that well, it was still a really fun trip. It was a really fun experience. I'm actually going to go back in a couple weeks, in like a month, to go redeem myself and hopefully try to get a better time, be a little less rusty once it comes to racing, and been doing a lot more event specific. So hopefully that goes well. But back in 2024, that was just such a fun trip. Two, I think another big thing for me too, as little as it sounds, is dialing in my training, man. Like track season last year for me was a nightmare, just because I had various small injuries. I couldn't train the way I wanted to. Like, I couldn't figure out what my issues were, like physically. I wasn't racing well. I just could not piece it together on a race day, but like training would go well, but something would happen on race day. So I do think a highlight was this fall,
Yep.
taking a long break after the summer. And then in the fall, like September, sat down with Joe, like as my coach, talked to Scotty Bowes, like, and just mapped out my training from now till like January and was just like, this is what I'm going to be doing. If you're not on board, like I'll find somebody that is on board. Like not even as a threat, but like as a, I just need to do what works for me. Like I need to get back to these 100-mile weeks. I want to try the double threshold training. I want to have these key workouts go. Like I understand I'm going to like start slower, but as the season picks up, like I should progress if things go right. And Joe is just 100% on board. He was like, yeah, I support you. He's like, I just need you to be I just need you to communicate with me, because a lot of times you'll go off and do your own thing and not tell me what happens. And then you get mad if something doesn't go right. And I'm like, that is fair. He's like, you have to tell me what you're doing. If you don't tell me, I'm not going to know what to give you. So I'm like, okay, cool. So like finally just like sitting down
Right.
and looking at things for the long term instead of like block at a time, or instead of like workout at a time or a week at a time. It was just dialing things in and actually enjoying training, because like the honest conversation I had with Joe at the end of my track season was like, I don't know that I want to do this anymore, man. Like I might be mentally tapped out. I've had 2 years of no success. I haven't improved in 2 years. I've been hurt for 2 years. And like, honestly, like what we do is exhausting. I'm putting in so many miles that like at some point, the motto of my fall was this has to work. Like something has to work out. So I think the fact that I was seeing everything start to piece together and my season started progressing the right way. I'm hitting the workout paces I want to be hitting. I'm hitting the intensities I want to be hitting. And to walk away at Club Cross like better than I think I've ever been and competed harder than I've ever competed, I think was a big justification. Like, okay, like, you know what you're doing, man. Like you got it locked in. So
yeah,
in terms of running, that had to have been my highlight. And then also our pod, man. Like I do think having somebody to talk about this kind of stuff with, like in the sense of, you know, we have these runs maybe once every other week when you can make it out to practice or you don't have another obligation. And that's kind of the only time I have to like nerd out about running. Like, even though our teams are runners, a lot of them do not care about running. In that sense, like, you know, Silas is a big surfer. He's into like tennis. He's into all these other ancillary things. Sean is, we talk about NBA, we talk about NFL, we talk about fantasy, we talk about Alan Cuevas. But like, once it comes to like running specific things, I don't have anybody else. So I do think that having this pod, having this platform to talk to you about has been a real big highlight. I look forward to it. And it's hilarious that I'm willing to spend Friday nights, like as a single 29-year-old male, like talking to my boy about running.
Yeah.
It's like going to hit a bar.
I appreciate that, you know?
Yeah.
Yep. It's also a treat for me as a 39-year-old male.
All right. Yeah. As we're wrapping this up, let's try to cut it at like the hour mark exactly. But what is your big goal for, let's say, early 2025, the first half of 2025?
Back to basics, baby. I want to get back to racing. You know, like I said earlier, 5 to 10K, 15K, half marathons, road racing, PA racing. You know, maybe do a bigger out of town race, but I just want to get back on the roads. I want to get confident again. You know, I want to get back to those distances that I enjoy racing and racing often.
Yeah. I mean, like I was saying, it's what we do is really hard in the sense of how much volume we're putting on our body. Like if you don't love what you're training for or love what you're doing, it's really hard to get it done.
Yeah. What about you?
For me, man, I'm gonna make a bold proclamation. I want to go sub 4 in the mile.
Ooh, let's do it.
This is probably my last track season that I emphasize track as like my main thing before I move. I do plan on joining you and moving to the roads fall next year, and start having fun with those like USATF races. You know, a lot of those like crazy 8K Shamrock Shuffle.
Let's do it.
Like the big 7 miler.
Love it.
So for me, this track season, like I went to Minneapolis, ran a 406 mile after binging for like 3 days because I was all sad after a bad 10K at Portland. And I ran a 406 mile and ran my PB. And I did not train the 4 days leading into it. And like, drank a bit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, if I ran 4 or 6 off that, what if I actually trained for it? Like, I can probably go under. So that's my number one goal, is to just check off that box, sub 4 mile. No one can take that from me.
Nope. Once you're in the club, you're always in the club.
Exactly.
Cool. All right. Well, I think that was a good show. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, I think so too, man.
Yeah. So our last podcast, 2024, episode 19. We're going to keep it rolling. Yeah. We'll see you soon. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to Lane 1 on all platforms for more content. We'll see you next time.